Welcome back to today's video. So today I will be going over all things Emirates that happened last weekend, and I have my my computer here with the notes to make sure I don't forget anything. I'll also be braiding my hair while I'm doing this because I need to do it and killing time, I suppose. So to begin with, this Emirates Open Day was going to be at a hotel in Oslo, and I got up at 6 a.m. and the open day was at 9 a.m. I was like, oh, you gotta be early to be punctual, you know. So I showed up at the hotel at 8 a.m. I was the first one of anyone there to come for the event. I was just kind of sitting in the lobby, just like, what to do. And then like 2 other girls showed up like not too long after me, so we're just sitting and chatting, and then they opened the room for us so we can go sit in there. It was freezing. It was like 22 minus degrees when we were in Oslo, and you could feel that inside too. It was not great. Like the conference room it was booked in was huge, and as more and more people came, we were just chatting around. One of the guys couldn't tie his tie, and I was like, I know how to tie a tie, I can tie it for you. So I tied his tie, gave it to him, and then we were all just sitting and gossiping, like as you do, getting to know each other. And it turns out we were only gonna be 9 people in this huge conference room. And then the Emirates representing person who was the recruiter, she was actually late, like actually late, like I don't know, like 5 or 10 minutes late. And we were sitting there for a period like, are we at the wrong place? No, but no, it said like Emirates over the door, so we were like, what's happening? But no, they had some technical issues with the software they needed to use for the presentations. They had an issue with the Office program, so that was a whole thing. The next thing then that happened was we had introductions, and we started up the video of like, it's kind of a introductory video, like how it is to live in Dubai, with like how's the lifestyle, and like it's been voted like best place for women traveling and so, like a bunch of stuff. And then some information about like just Dubai airport, I need to move you. And yeah, just lifestyle and how it is to live there, and how the flight attendant life can be as well, to like. And then they had like the question at the end of like, are you ready for Dubai? Like, are you ready for this lifestyle to be a flight attendant in Dubai? And it was like a whole thing. I need to see how this looks. Is it okay? It's okay. Let me flip back. So, and I'm just gonna, yeah. Let me double check here. Yes, and then after we went through the video and we all got asked like, are you ready for this and everything that, we had our first group activity, the 9 of us. So we split into 3 groups, so we were 3 people per group, and then the group would be given like a laminated piece of paper with like a profession on there, like just recheck here. Yes, so my group, we got the card photographer, and we had to pick like an attribute the photographer needs to be a good photographer, you know. So me and my group, we were just 3 girls. So we were just kind of discussing like, what does what attributes does a photographer have to be a good one? And then I I personally came up with like half of the things we were like had like, because we made like almost a pool of them, and then we would pick from the pool after we had named a bunch of them and like made a reasons for why. So I think I came up with half of them personally, but you know, you gotta contribute to the group. And it's stuck. And then I ended up going with attribute patience and so, and then my other group member picked creativity, because they needed creativity to see what shots to take and what pictures to get and stuff. And then my other team member picked empathy, to have empathy for the people and for your work and the people who will be receiving and who is being pictured, and how not everyone can feel comfortable being in front of a camera. And then one of the other groups got like actor, like what attributes does an actor need to have to be a good actor. And another group got, I can't quite remember actually at this point, but it was something in a similar vein, like relative, like public, kind of, you deal with public people, like you deal with the public, like you deal with customers. Let's see. Yes. So then we the group kind of got called up to the front, but it wasn't all that scary since there was only 9 of us in total, and there was like 3 groups of 3 people. So we got called to the front, and my group was the first. So first you would kind of just introduce yourself and like how old you were and what experience you had with working in the customer service industry so far in your life. Like, so did like a hi, my name is, and how old you were, and how you have experience in the customer service industry, since you do need to have 1 year's worth of customer service experience to join Emirates, because they need to make sure you know how to handle customers day in and day out. So you did that, and then you would present like what profession you had gotten and attribute you had chosen. And I present the patients like, oh, a good photographer needs patience, not only because it also depends on the shots, like if he is photographing animals, you have to have the patience to sit there and just wait for them to come out in their time to get the perfect shots and pictures and videos. And then also like you're doing a wedding, you're shooting a wedding, and you have to like go around all day, lugging around the equipment, and just there's gonna be lots of waiting and going in queues around people. So we did that, and then the others presented in the same way with like the name, customer service experience, and then but that was sort of me like an imposter, because everyone was like had such a list of customer experience, and I was like I was feeling such like an imposter because I didn't have that many things to like list for that. I'm a baby 20-year-old, like what am I supposed to be listing? But I did have something, so it was okay. And then after that we moved on. Let's see. Yeah, we got another group, like we got asked to go into like a hallway, kind of like a back room, and then we were just sitting and gossiping and eating some snacks and drinking water and stuff, and like just being nervous in general. And then yeah, we got called back into the big like conference room, auditorium kind of thing. Yeah, and then we got told to sit in this big circle of chairs, and we got given like laminated papers, and like with the uniform rules, like there was a special version for the men given to them, and the rest were just like the female uniform. And then it was like uniform rules, like what you can and cannot have in makeup department, and what you can and cannot have of jewelry, and how you need to be presenting the uniform, like how to take care of it, a bunch of stuff like that, like how to do your hair, all of that stuff. So then we got told to have a group discussion about the uniform, because then she was going to be pulling aside us like one by one and take the height measurements. So then she wanted us to talk, so like we could hear their conversation in the back while they did the height measurements, in case like someone had questions or someone like had to get rejected because they weren't tall enough, because you do have to be 160 centimeters tall and be able to reach 212 centimeters. You can stand on tippy toes though, but without shoes. So it's like let's say this is a wall and this is the measuring thing, and the behind it is like goes against the wall like this, and then here in the front you have this little thing you step on. So you step on, you get your height, and then they tell you you can lean into the wall and on your tippy toes to go all the way up, like it's okay. So that's why they put it against the wall, so you can lean, because some people have leaned like on their tippy toes to reach, and then because they didn't have any support on the side, they would like fall and like push the whole thing over. So yeah, okay. Does this look good so far? I have no idea how it looks, but I think it's okay. This is thirsty work. Yeah. After that, we had another group activity, in which we were still sitting in this big circle of chairs, and we got given another laminated piece of paper. And it was like, because we had two of the kind of the same. Yeah, so you are working at a hotel in the reception, and then you have several people come down, and you only have 2 rooms left in the hotel, and you were overbooked. And you have to like choose who, like you have 2 rooms, you have to choose who the 2 guests to stay in the hotel is, and how you can kind of please the others even though they cannot stay in the hotel because it is overbooked. So there's like a hotel manager for a different hotel chain, there's a politician, there's a social media presence person, and there was a family with an infant who had a medical checkup at the nearby hospital. There was a couple on their honeymoon, and there was also a guest who's already staying at the hotel but their bathroom flooded, and so and so. And then we ended up deciding on the guest who's already staying in the hotel whose bathroom got flooded, because it's easier to move people around who hasn't checked in and packed out than the person who has already checked in and packed out. So we put him in our room, and then we put the family with the infant that had a medical checkup nearby in the other room, and then our kind of the recruiter. So, and then the recruiter came and like, so you gave the guest who had the flooded bathroom the room, but say we get this room fixed, who is the third people or the third room go to? And then we had like the couple on their honeymoon as the runner-up, so they got the third room. And again, there is no right or wrong answer to this. We got told like there is no right or wrong answer, just what you choose like to do, like just how you get to the answer. This matters to her. So there really was no right or wrong, and all answers are good answers, but that's just what we as a group decided on. And then we had a second version of this, where you are working at the gate for a flight, and your flight has some extra room in business class, and you get to upgrade one guest or one kind of passenger. You get to upgrade one passenger. Let me keep doing the hair while we're talking. So you got to upgrade one passenger, and you could choose, it was like because normally they mentioned specifically like normally they would pull from people who are like have like a loyalty card or member or something like that, but since there were no members like that on board, or they all already had business class, you got to choose one. And you had like the elderly gentleman was only flown once before and was really excited to fly with Emirates, and you had like the worried mother flying alone with the baby. And then you have the nervous flyer, and you have a businessman who asked to fill out the application form for the loyalty program, and you have the unhappy celebrity chef that missed his first flight because he overslept. Yeah, like that's not the airline's fault. That's his fault, so he cannot fault the airline for anything because he overslept and missed his first flight, and we rebooked him already. And I actually put in this suggestion for the elderly gentleman because this is a similar story, because my grandma was actually flying with Emirates, and then I have some loose hairs here. She actually got upgraded to first class just randomly, and she has never ever flown first class before. Like, normally can't really afford to do that, you know, normal people, everyday people. But so she got to fly first class, and she still talked like this was years ago, like way back. I don't know. I was like, I don't know, I think like 5 or 6 years ago actually, or something like that. But then she still talks about it to this day, like how amazing the experience was and how nice the flight attendants were and just how luxurious she was and how good of a rest she had on this long haul flight in first class. And it was such an amazing experience. So I voted, we put in the elderly gentleman, and I told them the story of my grandma who got that upgrade as well. And then we all kind of ended up kind of deciding on the elderly gentleman was only flown once before but was really excited to fly with Emirates. because there was also like there was a nervous flyer, but he had a friend in first class. But the upgrade in this task was for business class, and you're like, but it makes no sense to upgrade a nervous flyer to business class when his friend is in first. It's like, it's not the same thing. So that was a whole kind of debate as well, to like put him with his friend, but then we were like, no, if you read this carefully, his friend's in first class. The upgrade is for business. So, yeah. Right, and again, there is no right or wrong answer to any of these. It's just what the recruiter wants to see is how you together as a group will decide, and how like they will want to see who participates in the group projects and who's quiet and who makes sure to try and get everyone involved, like who's like, you know, what everyone's doing. So they will like walk around you in outside of the circle just looking at everyone, and you're so nervous because it was like, oh my god, am I doing good? Am I doing bad? You don't know. Okay, and after this we did get asked to go back out into the hallway while she would just go through, and because she took notes. She was like with the notepad like taking notes like the entire thing. I was so nervous when the note taking started. But yeah, we were sitting in the hallway, we were all nervous as shit, and I was just chugging down my water and gobbling down my little cereal bar for dear life. I was so stressed at this point. Because I actually got to tell about how I already have a bunch of like security and safety training courses and I'm also used to the hectic lifestyle of being a flight attendant, but that's because I worked on ships a lot, and on ships you have a very similar training for like safety and security and fire and everything, and you also have hectic schedules, because if something happens you get called and you can't expect to say no, I want to sleep, because you're the only one on this boat who can fix stuff. And also the braids are done. How are the braids looking? I don't know. So yeah, so we are all really nervous, and a lot of people thought of me and like they were like, you're definitely getting picked, because I was kind of checking off so many boxes to be like the candidate or something, because I was very active in group activities and a lot, but now I'm kind of hinting to what's happening here. But so yeah, then we got told to come back inside, and they picked 2 people to stay to take the English test and then the one-on-one final interview, and I was not one of them. I got sent home, but they encouraged us to come back in April, because they have shortened the time now for being 6 months in between events like this to 3 months. So I got highly encouraged to come back in 3 months. And me and the others were kind of going and getting food after this, because we decided to get food after that because we wanted breakfast or like lunch. Let's see. Yeah. So they were like, but she was like looking at you like the whole time. She was trying to tell like who was going past, and they were like, oh, Ira is for sure getting picked. And then I didn't get picked, and I was like, of course I was disappointed, but at the same time, it's okay. It's just 3 months, and I already knew I would have to wait until April to get a final answer anyway, because my birthday is the end of March, and because I'm 20, right? And you have to be 21. So even if I had gotten the job today, I would still have to wait all the way to April to know for sure if I actually really got the job or not. So, you know, I was just like, of course I was disappointed, but I wasn't too stressed about it. And they actually picked, the 2 people they picked was the other person who came right after me in the morning, and both me and her were the most active in like group activities and projects. And the other person was someone who already works as a flight attendant for a different airline, and she wasn't really active in this group settings or anything like that. She was pretty withdrawn. But we think that just because she's a flight attendant and already knows what the life is and has experience with that, that's why she got picked. So yeah, but definitely got very much encouraged to come back. And at one point, because we were all like shaking because we were freezing so bad in there after sitting there for hours, and I asked the recruiter, can I go downstairs or something in the lobby and the reception and ask if they can turn up or on the heat or something, because it's so cold in here. And he was like, oh, thank you, I'm also freezing, like, yes, please go do and do that. So like I was even taking initiatives to get everyone warm. and still no. But we think it also might be because they want people to start working immediately, and even if I got picked, like it would have to be like almost 3 months before I could start working. So, you know, that's just that's it. But yeah, so that was my Emirates Open Day interview. That's how it went. That's everything that happened. I hope you enjoyed watching me braid my hair and go through, like, just gesturing, because I have the notes here. I was also checking up my notes, so I hope you had a lovely time. If you have any questions or anything you want me to explain to you and in depth more, just hit me up in the comments and I will explain it more in depth for you, of course. Okay, so this week we of course had the Emirates Open Day interview, whole thing, shebang. And last week we had the Oslo vlog. However, next week's video is going to be a pack with me for Venice, because I will be going to Venice in Italy in time for Carnevale or Carnival. So, at Carnevale in Venice is when they have all the masks on and the costumes, and it's a whole thing. And I was there last year in February, but I was there before Carnevale. So I didn't get to experience it, but I got to see all of the preparations and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I want to go back and experience it. And I thought it would have to be a couple of years until I could do that, but I found cheap tickets and I was like, order in my basket. Yes, yes, yes. So now I'm going to Venice in time for Carnevale, and I'll be bringing, I literally got masks last time I was there. So I'm gonna be bringing my mask and I'm gonna be like, So next week we're doing a packing video for Venice, and the week after that is going to be the Venice Carnevale vlog. So stay tuned for that. However, thank you so much for watching and have a lovely week ahead. I'm just back really quickly because I remembered what the third group got as their profession to pick attributes for, and we had, my group, we had a photographer, the second group had actor, and the third group had a news reporter who would report the news and stuff. Like they had to like pick attributes for why what a good news reporter has and why they need to have that attribute. So that was the third and final group attribute profession that they got for that little activity. So I just remember that. So editing era popping in here. So I know I said in the video that next week's video is going to be a pack with me for Venice, and then it's going to be the Venice vlog. My bad. I was looking at the wrong place in the calendar. Next week's video is actually going to be unspoken hostel rules. I'm going to do like an explaining unspoken hostel rules to travelers or new travelers, just people who are curious about hostels in general. And then the week after that is the pack with me for Venice, and the week after that again is going to be the Venice vlog. I am so sorry. But yeah. Next week is the unspoken hostel rules, and then it's gonna be the pack with me for Venice. So sorry.